Hey everyone, as you know, our YouTube channel is primarily focused around selling on Amazon, but we've also discovered that the majority of our audience also has their own small e-commerce stores. So we wanted to bring on Joe from Klaviyo, which is a market-leading marketing automation platform, to talk to us a little bit more about selling through your own e-commerce stores and some of the things that we can be doing from a marketing standpoint to ultimately grow our business. Joe, how are you doing today?
How's it going? Thank you for having me. I've been with Klaviyo for about 6 months now, and we have a really amazing product that I'm super happy to be here to talk about today. Unlike most marketing platforms that are out there, Klaviyo really focuses on helping e-commerce businesses grow. We do that through a lot of different ways, but the main differentiator is that we were natively built to help e-commerce businesses really listen and understand what their customers are actually telling them, either through like behavioral data that they're sharing through their web browsing activity or through their actual purchasing or web browsing on product pages, things like that. What then we allow you to do is create really customized email marketing and advertising messages to share with your customers. We believe that segmentation and personalization are what really helps you build true customer relationships. And that's the big Klaviyo differentiator. We believe that by building really strong customer relationships and doing that at a pretty sizable scale, that's how you can really start to drive growth and value for your business.
So, Joe, I think the majority of the people watching this, they sell on Amazon. Oftentimes, people are looking to diversify their sales off of Amazon, and probably what's most common of our audience is to have a small Shopify store or another e-com platform where they're getting started to sell some of their products off of Amazon. Most of them are a little bit smaller, and the majority of them are probably kind of like just getting started in the e-commerce game. So why don't we start there and talk a little bit about what you see as some of the most important things for these people who are just getting started with their first e-commerce store to be thinking about as far as really just general marketing goes.
I think in today's day and age, the biggest tenet that you should really be thinking about is what do you know about your customers and what data points do you have on those customers that you can use to really help craft really specific marketing. One of the things that we always say at Klaviyo is the days of batch and blast email are dead. Those were the days when you would sort of look at who you had on your customer list and you would decide to send every single customer, whether it was 100 or 10,000 or more, all the same email. People don't really respond to that. I think what we've seen as time has gone on is their expectations for what good marketing is has really elevated. They're looking for brands and advertisers to provide them with really specific messages that are about the products, about the content, about what's of interest to them as an individual. And I think one of the things with that is understanding the data that you have. So really being cognizant of the different points that you're getting from your e-commerce platform, for instance, and how you can really use that information to curate the marketing messages that you're sending.
And some of these email funnels can get pretty complex. A lot of people who are very sophisticated marketers have some really pretty amazing email funnels. If you were just getting started, what do you feel like is like the lowest hanging fruit, or like the first maybe two or three or even five different types of just kind of like email funnels or marketing automation you should set up for your customers?
Definitely. For us, we always recommend that first and foremost, when someone comes to your website and they sign up to receive your newsletter or they sign up to be on your file, that you're actually sending them a welcome series, that you're welcoming them and thanking them for the action they've just taken. You're sharing some information about your brand. Maybe you're sharing what some of your top products are that other customers who have subscribed are interested in. Sort of just giving them some cues on how to engage with your brand, how best to approach your products, what your different product selection is, depending how many individual items you have. You want to give them, some highlights. What are the top sellers? People love those types of recommendations. The next one that I think is really important, and it's definitely a moneymaker for our customers, is really thinking about your abandoned cart series. So what that means, I'm sure you've all received an email like this before, but you have someone who's on your website and say they're browsing hair care products or something along those lines, and they put something in their cart, but they don't actually go through and purchase. That's a prime opportunity to, send them an email shortly thereafter saying like, hey, Greg, like you left this in your cart. Did you want to buy it? They were obviously very close to making that purchase. What we see is that additional sort of just, it's a gentle push. It's a gentle prompt. Like, are you sure you didn't want this product? Really helps to drive conversion. Additionally, another flow that we really recommend to think about is abandoned browse behavior. So similar to abandoned cart, you see someone who is engaging with a product multiple times. That's a really big opportunity to reach out to them and maybe send them a small offer for 5 or 10% or 15%, whatever your threshold is on that particular product, just to get them to sort of push over the edge. Through their behavior that they're engaging with the product, they're looking at it, so they're interested. It's the perfect time to sort of incentivize them and say like, hey, are you, is this product right for you?
Cool. Thanks for those, Joe. So the welcome series, the abandoned cart emails, and abandoned browser series. I agree. Those are all kind of like low-hanging fruit items for getting or building customer kind of like engagement and loyalty, then getting them come back to finish kind of that purchase. The way I think about it, you might think about it a little bit differently, Joe, is like when we're thinking about kind of marketing automation, to me, like email is probably like the easiest to set up and probably like the lowest hanging fruit. I know when you use a platform, say like Klaviyo, the way at least my brain works, like the next stack of kind of complexity on top of that, or if you want to get a little bit more sophisticated, is stacking on top some performance marketing ads, something like Facebook ads. Do you want to kind of talk a little bit about like taking it to the next level and how you can build segments and target for different, for example, Facebook ads?
Great question. So this goes back to what we were talking about a little bit earlier, the idea of using your data to build segments and to really drive personalization through those segments of people's buying behavior. You can build a segment through Klaviyo really based on any sort of data point that you have about a customer. Thinking about it in the most simplistic way, we have something we often talk about called like our VIP shopping list, or your VIP customers. Those are the customers who are shopping with you fairly regularly. They're spending quite a bit of money with you, and their average order price is fairly high. They're kind of your brand advocates. So those are the individuals. When I think about how I want to grow my business, I want to go find more people who match those same sort of customer attributes. With Klaviyo, what you can do is essentially build out that VIP segment, and then you can essentially sync it with Facebook. And then through Facebook's targeting, you can actually say, hey, go find more of these VIP shoppers using their lookalike targeting. You would create your ads directly in Facebook, and then you'd give them some sort of a brand value message, something to drive those lookalike VIP shoppers to your site and hopefully convert them.
What are some other items that you see e-commerce stores doing right now that are kind of like, in your mind, just kind of like no-brainers? So, like we talked a little bit about creating good segments, about some like the low-hanging fruit as far as the like the email automations go. If you want to get a little more sophisticated, you can stack paid ads kind of like on top of that. What are some other things that you feel like it's like, man, when you get your marketing platform like Klaviyo set up like in the first month, like you need to make sure to do this because this is like highly impactful and not a lot of work to get set up?
Kind of when I think about it, it's like creativity is your limit. So if you know that for your products, going back to the hair care example, for instance, if you're marketing to an individual who's a brunette, wouldn't it be so much better to actually deliver marketing to them based on their actual hair color, for instance? So you can actually use Klaviyo forms to set up a form. In its most simplistic way, you could just collect someone's email address. That's great for building your newsletter file, for instance. But what's really impactful is you could say like, hey, what type of hair color do you have? And then they self-select. So then you can actually use what they've provided with you as a new data point to then deliver personalized marketing. So thinking about what new data points you can collect, like how often someone might be looking to purchase or what their favorite products are, favorite colors are. Those are really basic types of questions that you can ask, but you could then tailor marketing to them. So long story long answer is that really thinking about what additional data points would be helpful for you to have on your customers, and then asking them directly for it through our forms functionality. It's going to be a huge opportunity for you to just find more ways to market to them in a really personalized manner.
That's actually something we do here at Jungle Scout is, whenever someone signs up for our email list, or we try to segment all of our customers this way, we just ask a simple question like, are you already selling on Amazon, or are you kind of like looking to get started? And then the type of content that we're giving you and the helpful resources and whatever else are more tailored to kind of like where you're at in your business. And just by doing that, we've really seen like engagement grow quite a bit. And that would probably just be like the start of it, right? Like if we want to take it one step further, now we could say like, okay, no, if you're not selling on Amazon, maybe like, why do you want to? Or like, where are you at right now? Or is this going to be a side hustle or a full-time thing? And then for the people who are, we could be talking about the amount of revenue they're at, their biggest pain points, whatever else. So it's pretty cool how like sophisticated you can get with this. And at the end of the day, it's ultimately better for your customer as well, right? Because no one likes getting like, sent a whole bunch of emails that maybe aren't really relevant or whatever else. So by sending just like more targeted, it's like you can help them more by like giving them what's most important to them and is like what they're looking for, maybe in their inbox or maybe on their ads that day.
Yes.
So.
You sort of put yourself back in their shoes. We're all consumers too. Like we receive emails, we know what we like and what we don't like and what's going to resonate with us. So thinking through that as kind of your gut reaction, like, is this going to be something that would work for me? Is this going to make sense to me?
When we're thinking about optimizing, let's use emails to start for an example, like optimizing, the ultimate goal is likely going to be to get people to come to your site and to purchase something. What are some tips that you have for optimizing kind of email flows? Like as an example here at Jungle Scout, we're always testing different types of subjects to see what gets the better open rate. And then once they're in there, like longer form versus shorter form versus a CTA versus there's endless amounts of things that you kind of like test and optimize. Do you have any tips for what you think is kind of like the highest impact things or the things that you should be testing first?
Yeah. So first and foremost, I'm glad you mentioned testing. That's something that I always sort of preach is making sure that you are testing. With Klaviyo, it's very easy to go in and test, subject lines, delivery times, things of that nature. So you can't improve or optimize if you're not testing. So first and foremost, that's the number one thing I would say. Beyond that, I would really make sure that you're going through and when you're going to deliver an email to a particular group of people, say you have like a fairly large list, you have 10,000 people, but 2,000 of them have not been engaging with your emails. We would recommend that you sort of pull that group out. What's going to help you deliver more emails is making sure that you have high engagement on your emails. So getting to the inbox is the ultimate goal. And when you sort of structure your emails and optimize them to say, listen, I want to just send to a segment of users or a segment of customers who have recently engaged, so they've opened an email. That's going to help you sort of put one threshold down of saying these are actually engaged customers.
Do you have any other deliverability best practices? That's obviously very important, as you pointed out.
Yeah, definitely. Deliverability is sort of a hot topic, I would say, across the space and the industry. I think one of the things that we really try to explain to our customers is to make sure that you are sort of cleaning your lists and that you're using the most up-to-date list. For brands that have been established for a while, sometimes they have customer names on their list that they've had for a long time. They might not necessarily know how some of those customers even came to exist. It's always a best practice in our eyes to go through and clean your list, to pull out people who have not been engaging. Ultimately, pulling those people out should help you drive better engagement, better deliverability. Keeping those non-engagers in, the ones that we kind of label sometimes as a void, they're ultimately going to drive down your deliverability if you don't go through that cleaning action. So it's definitely something we push for our customers to think about, and definitely a practice that will help.
So Joe, I just got done with a number of South by Southwest talks here in Austin. One of the hot topics right now throughout the tech industry is machine learning or AI. Are you guys integrating this into the Klaviyo tool, or how are you guys thinking about integrating, it looks like, the future of technology now?
Yeah, great question. First, I'm jealous that you're at South by Southwest. I've never been, but I hear it's absolutely incredible. Yes, so data science, AI, all a main part of Klaviyo as an organization and how we're structured and how our teams are built. We're doing some really amazing and exciting things there. One of my favorite features that we actually just launched at the start of the year is our predicted date of next order. So what's really amazing is once you've hit a certain threshold of orders in Klaviyo, we can actually go out and predict for your full customer list when they're next most likely to purchase. So we'll be able to tell you exactly how much we believe that they're going to spend and when they're actually likely to spend. And what that allows you to do is kind of take two different actions depending on what happens. So first, you could say like, okay, Greg is about to purchase XYZ product, and he's going to do that on August 30th. Say now it's August 20th and Greg hasn't made that purchase, but we really hope he does. We could send him a message and say like, hey, like here's a small discount, or here's your favorite product. Like, is it time to re-up or resupply yourself? So giving them that gentle nudge just in advance to really push them forward to make that purchase. Or on the sort of other side of that, if you're supposed to purchase on August 20th and you haven't, we can actually, through Klaviyo, send them an automated flow and say, hey, like we noticed that you haven't re-upped your coffee supply for the month. Like here's 10% off, that type of a message. Like, are you interested in resupplying yourself? So you can actually recoup those sales that we predicted you would be getting and that you've missed. So it's just another additional opportunity to try to drive more revenue for your business.
Well, Joe, I want to thank you very much for coming on, giving a lot of this valuable information to our audience. I also want to personally thank Klaviyo for sponsoring the 5-minute pitch. For those of you who aren't familiar with the 5-minute pitch, you can search it on YouTube right now. It's a Shark Tank style pitching competition where small businesses, most likely yourself, can win a $50,000 prize to help them grow their business. Klaviyo is generous enough to sponsor it to help us raise the $50,000. They've also been very helpful to our audience, helping them think about how they can grow their marketing, specifically with their e-commerce stores. So, Joe, if the people who are watching this are interested in signing up for Klaviyo or learning more about it, what is the best way for them to find that out?
Definitely. I would Google Klaviyo, Klaviyo.com. And come on over. We have a free trial if you have under 250 contacts. And then what's really amazing about Klaviyo is we offer sort of month-to-month pricing, and it's basically depends on how many contacts you have in your list. So what you get with that is, a ton of functionality. It's very easy to use, and it's definitely going to be impactful for helping you make more money. So definitely check us out. If you have any questions, I'm always here to help too.
Awesome. Thank you very much, Joe, and have a nice day.